Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. If there's anybody listening, because I am very late, I travelled back from Cumbria today. Fair old trip. Merry old England, how you doing? Give me a 5 if you can see and hear me. There was a couple of quick things I was going to talk about. I am quite knackered. Not majorly, but knackered. I drove all the way back the full 6 hours without even stopping. Hang on a minute, there's someone knocking on my door. Oh. Well done, man. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Let's see which ones these are. Are you all there, by the way? Give me a shout and tell me if you're out there. Let me see. Ooh. Ones are these. We got all different ones. 20 milligrams. Ivermectin. So I'll be trying to send that out this week, if I can. Oh, my back. It's like an electric shock. When I sit down and move, it goes right through me hip. Right, are you all out there? You can all see me. You can all hear me. Good evening to you, Tracy, Truism. DD's dealer at the door. Laugh out loud. Yeah, very funny. Don't forget, it's a molecule, right? And people need to understand that. It was also given the Nobel Prize, medical prize, in 1976 as a revolutionary molecule that solves lots of things for different ailments, etc. And it is well known, ivermectin, to block cancer's communication within the body, which is one of the reasons why you get apoptosis, where, in other words, it dies. And once people understand it is not toxic, right? There is a measurement that you should take, and you can't just take one or two if you've got cancer. You genuinely need to take quite a bit of it, but it is weighted for your body weight, etc. There are loads of positives coming out about what ivermectin does, what fenbendazole does, what DMSO does. This stuff here, that's just one of them. I've got another load of it on the side there. There's my other DMSO. I need to put that on my back, on my side. In fact, I will do that when I end this show. You can see what happens. Juicy and Lucy, everyone out there. So anyway, the main purpose of tonight is just to let you know I am home safely. I didn't stop for a 6-hour drive, so I tanked up when I was up in Cumbria, just carried on driving. Weren't one bit of traffic. I literally set the cruise control at 70 mile an hour, and I don't even think, very rarely, did I even touch my brake. It was sunny, no chemtrails, all the way to Devon. And then I pulled up outside. There was a parking space, and I thought, yeah, what's going on here, right? It was a parking space, so I've parked in a parking space fairly close to where I live. Went down a local pub, had something to eat, had a pint of cider, dropped in the other pub, had a pint of cider, said, hello all, I'm back, and then come in here and was ducking and diving until Tracy reminded me, "Are you doing a show?" Oh yeah, I better get on with that. So it took me a bit of time to sort that one out. But there's a few things that I want to say to everyone. And again, I did mention it last night. The seminar in Barrow in Furness was fantastic. Fantastic people, fantastic patriots. Everyone had a good listen. I think many people learnt something there. That everyone comes up and says, like, I wish I'd known all this before. Like, someone needs to be telling people this. And that's exactly, we are going to be gearing up, which there will be a discussion on this. I'm doing a seminar in Weston-super-Mare on April the 7th, I think it is. And then we've got our big, there's another event I'm going to, so our event, a 2-day event, is in June in Maplethorpe, right? So we're going to be massively promoting that, doing loads of little shorts. I'll be doing lots of things promoting that so everyone understands what it's about. But part of it will be the English Constitution Party. So we need as many members to turn up there because we're going to have a couple of serious votes, right? The more I see and understand, and I watched another video that Andy the Gabby Cabby sent me. Other people have sent it to me. There was I've got. Let me see if I can find this. I want everyone to understand tonight's show is really just. I got back fine, but also to understand that under the English Constitution, you cannot. The only people who can sack judges. Listen to this. Is us, right? The king can't sack a judge, technically. Parliament can't do it on its own. It's got to be a vote of impeachment. And I just want everyone to understand that if there's anyone telling you not to vote, you're literally giving the communists a full run, as they've had for decades now, if not the last 100 years, in taking England away from the people. And that includes many things, right? So there was a case in the early 1900s, which was the Secular Society versus Bowman, which in effect reversed the ruling of 1860, I think it was, where they absolutely stated in 1860 that England is a Christian nation, right? Now, the Secular Society and the judges at the time, in the early 1900s, are Fabians, and they reversed that decision, right? In law, we would say that was wrongly decided, right? But there's more to this than meets the eye, because not long after that, they also withdrew from us, so they took away many things. In 1925, I was having a discussion with Kaz this morning, our property rights, our real property rights. And that's how farmers lost copyhold rights, where inheritance tax could not be applied to them, right? But they have grandfather's rights on that. But let me just make sure I'm making you aware. This has been a multi-generational, step-by-step, typical Fabian attack on the English and the common law and the common law jurisdiction and our common law constitution that has been put in place over 1,100 years of legal history. Not David Starkey's what king and queen and illegitimate bastard kid they had, right? We're not interested in that. We're interested in the legal history of England, the constitution, and what protects us. And we can show what they put in place to remove those protections, right? Including the British Nationality Act, 1948 and 1981. So what's really important, people can, there's always a compromise. There's a minimum, I would say, of 20 ultra vires because they never stated on the face of the bill what the bill was, what the changes to our constitution were doing. In other words, they did it by stealth. But one of the things that people should remember is they took away our grand juries, and parts and elements from the 1850s, the Parliament Act of 1911 was an absolute assault on the Constitution of England and the lawmaking of England to attempt to turn Parliament into a Politburo, right? So all of this needs to be explained to restore Britain, because to me, restore Britain means restore England, restore Scotland, restore Northern Ireland, restore Wales, the brotherhood of nations coming together as a working group of people, working meaning middle class and tradespeople, right? So everyone should understand that the people doing this to us are the ruling classes. Now, in the past and in history, the ruling classes have always pitched the middle class, and if you want to call it the lower classes, I don't consider myself to be lower class, right? I don't like the ruling class, and there's many people in the middle class I can't stand, especially women, right? Because they think their shit don't stink, right? You all know what I'm talking about. Snob, like proper snobs, look down on normal everyday. We're the people that keep the country running. If anything, it's our economy, right? So that does not mean that you don't need clever people, normal everyday working people who then create corporations, incorporate a company, play the tax system the way you should be playing it, etc., 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 right? That just means you're clever, right? There's been corporations in this country for well in excess of 1,100 years, right? It's the officers of the corporations that are the problem, not the incorporation itself, right? That's what you've got to understand. By the way, Sir Edward Coke actually spelled that out about legal fictions. And I just want to make sure everyone understands that British is a legal fiction, right? It was created by Parliament. It is not natural. It is not tribal. It is an artificial nationality, British. And if you affix that to your forehead, you are giving away everything that our ancestors put in place for you, right? So making sure everyone understands this. I am not against the Scots, the Northern Irish. In fact, the Northern Irish are more English than the English. They fully understand what the Bill of Rights is all about, right? And people like Benjamin Habib, the one that's got a Pakistani dad and an English mother, which ain't my problem, it's his problem. But he's trying to make it my problem. Both my parents are English. My grandparents were English. My great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were English. All of my grandparents going back thousands of years are white English. Might have the odd sweaty in it. There might be a Welshman or a Welsh lady somewhere. I doubt it, to be honest with you. But there might be, right? And I have no doubt there's some Irish in there somewhere, right? So, how do you pull it all together? Britain is an island, and I get it, right? I've always said that it is an island, not a country. What we've got to do is restore Britain. Today, I've seen something. Let me see if I can go and find it. Restore Britain have put out Restore Scotland, and saying how many Scots have joined the party. And then they've put out Restore Wales. And they're putting out these images, right? Let me see if I can show it to you. And it come out from Restore Britain. What I need are you to send their whole team. We need to do this as a big group, right? And say, let me have a look. See if I can find Restore Britain. Let's see if I can find it. Restore. It is important, and I want people to see it. Anyone out there that's got channels, try and get any one of his team on your channel and say, listen, most people fell out with Benjamin Naeem Habib because he would not speak of England, right? The only time he started speaking of England, right? So I'm going to show you something on your screen now. You're the audience, right? You're English, the majority, and we got some Irish out there, Welsh, Scottish, who watch this show and believe exactly what we believe, right? So in some way, we need to turn this round and send this information out, right? So here we go. I'm going to show you this. There's Restore Britain. And there it is, 100,000 members with that disgusting British parliamentary flag, because that's what it represents. If you look outside of the bubble of London, everyone's waving the English fucking flag and their county and shire flags. What have we got there? It's on your screen now. Have a look at that. Tell me what you think of that. Vast numbers of Scottish patriots have joined Restore Britain. Most of the people that fucking joined Restore Britain are English. When do we see a Restore England? Right? It rises more and more every day. We've got Scots in the English Constitution Party. Right? There's another one. Let's have a look and see where it comes up. There's another one which is Restore Wales. Right? Where's the Restore Wales one gone? It's out there somewhere. I see it today, right? Let me have a quick look and see if I can find it. Yeah, right? Just to make the reason I do it is because I'm not telling tales. I'm just telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? An important day for many Welsh patriots today. Happy St David's Day. Enjoy it. Restore Wales, right? Now, what I'm saying is, let's go back to being a brotherhood of nations where we all stand forward, right? If you go back to the First and Second World War and you asked any of them people, what nationality are you? They did not say fucking British. They said English, Welsh, Scots, or Northern Irish, or any other nationality that was with us fighting a fucking war. They did not say British, right? The British Nationality and that Act only got forced upon us as the loyal nation states, right? In 1948, with the British Nationality Act, it was done by Fabian, Clement Attlee. They pushed it through, and in 1981, they made some additions that erased English, Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. It's even been put in the media. In fact, I think it was the Daily Express, could have even been the Telegraph, that done a whole story about it with a statement from the Cabinet Office that said that English, Scottish, Northern Irish and Welsh no longer exist after the British Nationality Act of 1981, right? So I'm not lying to people, and the Cabinet itself said it. Now, I'm not saying, right, so I'm going to go back to my main screen. Did you all see that on the screen? I'm not saying to you that Restore Britain are the bad guys. I'm not saying that. They're 1,000 times in front of Reform. There are 1,000,000 times in front of Advance, who have still got their head up their arses talking about ethno-nationalists. Listen, ethno-nationalists, I'm not one. I've got a point. All they're doing is protecting their race and their culture. I don't have an issue with that, right? And no one in the world seems to have an issue with it, except the lefties, right? That are attacking predominantly the English. They want to split us into 9 regions. It's been the plan from the 5 Presidents' report of the European Union for the last 40, 50 fucking years, right? Now, there was a great video. I'm hoping to be able to bring it up on your screen. And I'm going to play part of it, right? I just want you, he gets some tiny bits wrong. Listen, I'm not going to bitch about it. Let me have a look and see if I can actually bring up some of what he said. Right. They would never hear me speaking. But there's two other people have sent me this. Was it 30.50? 30. I'm going to bring it up on my screen. Oh, I'll have to shut it down again. I don't know what this was, but Andy the Gabby Cabby sent it to me, right? And he gets most, but he says things in here. He says things in here I completely agree with. He says other things that I'm sort of cringing at. Not because it's because he's been indoctrinated and he is a product of the slow march through the institutions. But I'm going to show you this. Hopefully I can send it out to people and I will put it out there. But have a listen to what he says.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. And James, thank you very much for inviting me last week to speak. You might regret it, but I'm going to speak anyway. Sir Roger Scruton was one of our greatest intellects, espousing the importance of individual freedom, individual responsibility, and the constant dangers of self-serving statism. Interestingly, he originally shared my surname Lowe through his great-grandmother, Margaret Lowe. He always sought to provide an intellectual base for conservatism in order to provide an ideology to counter socialist dogma, egalitarianism, feminism, foreign aid, multiculturalism, and modernism. His liberalism and common sense views, which he bravely expressed, highlighted the fragile nature of our unwritten constitution, which understood the importance of unfettered free speech, but which has been undermined by Tony Blair and subsequent governments of both persuasions. Albert Einstein said presciently, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." Having fought 2 world wars in a short space of time, the United Kingdom, having retained its sovereignty and avoided invasion, but lost its confidence, rather like Athens, which flourished due to active citizen participation in the early 5th century, as the citizens' engagement declined after a plague, so moral breakdown ensued with the abandonment of the traditional values of civic duty in favor of self-interest and hedonism. Decision-making became susceptible to manipulation by a few influential individuals, thereby reducing the democratic processes to more populist and emotional appeals rather than reasoned debate. The post-war European elite had a plan to destroy the nation-state, which they saw as the root cause of war, particularly between France and Germany, in order to create a Europe-wide elite socialist and protectionist bureaucracy. The United Kingdom was the proudest sovereign nation, founded on the Glorious Revolution, the Bill of Rights, and the 1707 Act of Union, and had not been invaded, occupied, or oppressed like most of Europe. The post-war plan, which our elite supported, involved undermining our sovereignty through deceit in order to overtly work towards a borderless European Union, presided over by an unelected commission whose view is that Nanny knows best. In order to subjugate our proud nation, we were divided into regions and old rivalries rekindled through the creation of the Senedd and the Scottish Parliament. Proud England was sacrificed, and we were sold out by a leadership who preferred to surrender our sovereignty to a continental construct based on a Napoleonic legacy. In Europe, unless the law says you can do something, it is assumed you can't. Whereas in England, unless the law says you cannot do something, we assume that we can. As a result, European laws abound, with a flexible approach as to how they're implemented according to national characteristics. Diktats proliferated, lawyers became rich, and freedom suffered over our 45-year membership. Parliament, the civil service, and our constitutional structures were gradually and then swiftly undermined under Tony Blair, only avoiding the fate of the euro thanks to Sir James Goldsmith's referendum party in 1997. A blend of protectionism, socialism, and a proliferation of bad laws, such as the Human Rights Act of 97 and the Brown-Eyed Equalities Act of 2010, opened the immigration floodgates and distorted human interaction within the economy. Parliament, the People's Elected Assembly, was undermined by MP selection processes based on quotas, not merit. And as a result, the civil service, through the unelected permanent secretaries, aped the European model of handing power to a faceless bureaucracy. That bureaucracy and our judiciary have now become infected with unsound philosophies such as DEI, thereby threatening our historical right to free speech. As Charles Mackay said in his excellent book, The Madness of Crowds, men, it has been well said, think in herds, go mad in herds, while only recovering their senses slowly, one by one. There are some encouraging signs that some sense is showing itself, but we need urgently to reverse the most damaging laws and regulation and base our society once again on common law. Nothing exemplifies the earlier Albert Einstein observation better than the countrywide abuse of thousands of white, young, working-class underage girls by largely Pakistani Muslim men, while all organs of the British state chose to turn and look the other way. It was a wholesale collapse of responsibility by the NHS, the police, teachers, doctors, social workers, and local government, usually in Labour-controlled areas. Not only did the Labour government reject a statutory national inquiry in January, but Keir Starmer dismissed concerns as the bandwagon of the far right. In order to exorcise this evil, we need to link all police databases across the country, admit to the countrywide scale of the evil, and punish all those with blood on their hands. It was a deliberate attempt to look the other way for a variety of reasons. The rapists were overwhelmingly Muslim. The state agencies were fearful of being branded racists. The doctrine of a multicultural Britain pushed by our political elite would be seen as a failure. The Labour Muslim bloc vote was founded on abuse of our deficient postal voting system, which needs radical reform. Admitting the truth would mean our leaders admitting that they had sacrificed the interests of their electorate on the altar of open border multiculturalism, which was imported from the European Union. Free speech suffered, and concerned citizens such as Lucy Connolly have been locked up for a misguided social media post, while violent criminals are released from prison early. The lunacy surrounding the net zero agenda is another example of collective human madness for discussion another day. The most populous countries such as China, India, and Indonesia are still exploiting fossil fuels, and in particular coal, while we are pricing ourselves out of the global economy as we virtue signal to the world. It is the economy which lies at the heart of a successful state. The delivery of economic growth and wealth is essential if democracy is to survive. Our Western economies now face huge competition from hard-working, less regulated Asian competitors. Innovation is disrupting the norms as the knowledge revolution challenges the industrial revolution and the middle classes suffer. Wealth is disproportionately locked up in the aging baby boomer generation, with opportunity for the majority of the young limited and the overhang of overpriced student debt holding them back. The COVID response was a catastrophe for them. Quantitative easing has allowed the state to grow as a percentage of GDP, while savings are debased. The outlook is very uncertain, and if we are to weather the coming storm, we need our national identity and self-belief back before it is too late. As Naval Ravikant, entrepreneur and investor, accurately observed, the people who start wars don't fight them. The people who spend the taxes don't pay them. And the people who forgive criminals don't live next to them. Of course, we are going to have too many wars, too much spending, and too much crime. In the same way that in the latter years of the Soviet Union, the most important survival quality was being a good liar, our increasingly statist, interventionist, centrally planned structures have resulted in increasing levels of dishonesty throughout our society. Our tribal bonds have been weakened by surrendering to the European Union, resulting in mass legal and illegal immigration, creating insecurity and an uncertain outlook. The private economy is now being hollowed out by the ill-conceived ideological imposition of increased taxes, both income and death taxes, increased regulation, licensing, and a growing unaccountable public sector. The electorate voted in June 2016 for the return of our borders and a functioning sovereign parliament in Westminster, based on our historical rights, which has not been delivered. The Tories and Labour have not served us well since 1990, and the current polls show people want radical change. That requires a detailed plan for control of our borders, mass repeal of malign legislation, and detailed policies to empower individual enterprise and dramatically reduce the size of the state. The new formula cannot offer the hollow bribes which have become part of our current electoral farce, but the chance of sustainable long-term prosperity based upon honest human interface. Wealth and success require hard work, not indolence, risk-taking, not risk aversion, and most importantly, free speech. We now need a committed movement of common sense to come together to restore Britain. I don't know about you, but I want my country back. Thank you.
Now, just to let everyone know, there is not a lot. In fact, there's hardly anything that I disagreed with, right? That was a fantastic speech. He gets it. The point, if there was anything I was going to point out to him, he needs to talk to people who have not been indoctrinated by the slow march through the institutions. He's got to get away from these barristers, get away from people like David Starkey that are misinstructing him on what the major causes of our constitutional changes were, not least of which in the 1800s, when they removed part of the Bill of Rights, ultra-vires, they buried it, not least of which the changes in 1947 to the Bill of Rights, ultra-vires, the way they did it. There are at least 1,000, and you've heard that correctly, at least 1,000 judges that need to be impeached, and it can only be done by parliamentarians. So we need to get elected to impeach these judges. Once they're impeached, they get no pensions. They are sacked by the people. And then we will bring in our new judges that will only implement and enforce the English, Scottish, Irish and Welsh Constitution as enacted when it was originally enacted by a convention parliament. And we will make sure that those responsible for removing those protections are tried for treason, and that includes Tony Blair. Now, the next one is this one. The guy from the East End. I don't know him. If anyone knows his name, shout it out.
How are we doing, you lovely people? Right, now, it's a real honour to stand here for Now in England with some proper heavyweights over there, by the way. Now, I'm not used to doing public speaking. The most speaking I normally do is in Dino's Cafe at 4:30 in the morning with a lasagna in front of me and giving a little motivational speech to my pals. But I have wrote a speech, and it's called The England I Love, and I've been practicing it this morning. Now, I stand here before you, not as some big politician. I ain't normally used to wearing a suit or reading from a script that I've written. I'm just a proud Englishman, a father, a grafter, and sometimes a little bit on the telly. But I'm a working class bloke who's had highs and lows, but I believes in this country because England has changed my life, and it is the absolute governor. Now, this land might be small, but it is mighty, and we call it home. It is powerful. It's proud, and when it's at its best, there ain't no place like England on earth. I grew up in East London, a proper working class family, but we had pride, we had graft, we had good friends, and most importantly, we had each other, because it's all about family. And I'll tell you something right now. If you've got a bit of heart and you're willing to put the work in, England gives you a chance. That's what makes it special, and that's the soul of its chemistry. This nation has given me a proper chance through education, through business, and through community spirit. Look, I'm a market trader. I sell mattresses. I've opened up gyms. I've been on telly, and I'm even thinking about giving it a go in politics. But it's all because of England. Look, when England's firing all cylinders, yeah, it lifts people up. It don't care where you started. It cares about where you're going. And England just ain't a place on a map. It ain't just about the green hills, the seaside towns, the black cabs, the red buses, and the beautiful pubs. And trust me, there's some beautiful pubs. England, it's about the people. It's about the single mums that get up at 5 a.m, getting her kids ready for a long day at work and still finds the strength to smile, even though she knows she's got bills she can't pay. It's the pensioners who live through it all, but still stand proud every Remembrance Day, waving that Union Jack and holding their St George's flag with tears in their eyes. It's the builders, the nurses, the lorry drivers, the publicans, the dinner ladies, the bin men, the real heartbeat of Great Britain, who keeps this country ticking every single day in, day out, without asking for applause. It's to everyone out there who's giving it a go. And we owe them everything. And it's about time we gave something back. Now, let's not pretend everything's rosy, because it bloody well ain't. I see it like how you see it. Crime's up, families are struggling, small businesses are hanging on by an absolute thread. Young people in this country feel lost. And too many of us feel like we're being left behind in our own country. We've got kids being taught to be ashamed of their own flag. It's bloody mental. People scared to say they're proud to be English in case someone kicks off or is offended. Well, let me be clear. I am proud of this country, and I will never, ever, ever apologise for loving England. I will always fly this flag for me, my family, and everyone that loves it. So let's take a moment to remember what England has given the world.
Right, let me stop you there. If there's anyone that knows this fella from East London that's listening to this now, anyone from the East End listening to this show that knows this fella, put us in touch. Because I need him to help a South Londoner, me, speak to Rupert Lowe and his team.
We gave the world the rule of law, the English language, the Industrial Revolution, some of the finest inventions in history, the steam engine, the telephone, the World Wide Web, and so much more. We stood alone in 1940 when the rest of Europe had fallen and said, no, we will never surrender. That spirit, that Churchill bulldog spirit, still lives in us all today. You see it in every corner of this country, from the family-run cafes to the football terraces to the school gates. We are resilient. We are proud, and we don't back down. I certainly don't back down. This country's given us Shakespeare, the Rolling Stones, pubs, pasties, West Ham United, and the Premier League. So, from the East End to Yorkshire, from Liverpool to Cornwall, we may all sound different, eat different, support different football teams, but deep down, we're the same people. We love our families, we love our communities, and we love our country. So how do we make England great again? I'll tell you. We invest in the families first. We bring back more affordable childcare, support for young parents, and make it easier for mums and dads to actually spend time with their kids, not just working every single hour that God sends to pay the bills. We make every child in England, whether they grow up in a council estate or the countryside village, get a proper chance in life, a decent education, skills for real jobs, and a roof over their heads. We give the police more powers again. Let's be honest, they're pussies at the minute. And to get... We need to make people feel safe again in their communities. We support our small businesses and all the market traders and all the grafters who are getting up before sunrise to make an honest living. We know we need more affordable housing. We need to back British farming. We need to buy British goods. We need to make it more affordable and support these industries that we are proud to make things here in the UK. Not just ship them from cheap abroad. And also, we need to stop everyone moaning about it on Twitter and actually do something about it. We've got to protect our borders. We reward hard work, and we put British values back at the centre of our society. Respect, loyalty, family, fairness, and pride in our flag. Now, I want my kids, and I want all your kids too, to grow up in an England where you can be absolutely anything. Where no one says you can't because of where you're from or how you talk, where dreams don't die in broken systems, where opportunity don't live only in London, but on every high street, every town, on every estate. That's the future I believe in. And we need real leadership to get us there. Not no waffle, not no spin, no promises that melt away after elections. We need common sense. We need courage. We need someone who understands it like it is when we go to graft, who knows what a fiver means to a working dad, who knows what it's like not to have the rent money some months, who takes pride in everything they do and do everything to the best of their ability, who believes in this country like I do. So I say this to every proud Englishman and Englishwoman out there, let's bring back pride, let's bring back purpose, let's bring back and build stronger families, safer streets, better schools and fairer opportunities. Let's wave that flag, and I mean let's wave it everywhere we go. Let's love England the way it's loved us. Let's be the generation that didn't sit back and watch it all fall apart around us, but we stand up, not on our watch, because no matter what happens in the world, we are British, we stand tall, we fight hard, we get back up, and we look after each other. So God bless you all. Abash!
Well, them two speeches were absolutely electrifying for me. Andy the Gabby Cabby, many of you have sent me him as well, but Andy the Gabby Cabby sent it over to me. I looked at the first one and then I heard his one. I thought, listen, we as a team have to start pushing forward to make sure. That's why the English Constitution Society is so important. It's not political. But we have to push England, keep pushing England. And the only way to do it is when you email Rupert Lowe and I'll send in Twitter messages to Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe directly and Charlie Downs directly and Lewis Brockwell, I think his name is, right? There's things coming up now where we need to do it. There's another big event coming up in Norfolk, which I will be talking to you about when he comes back to me. So there's plenty going on, but we need... I can't do it on my own. You have to assist me in doing it. So just to make sure. And Taffy Pat, yes, make Wales great again. You need to talk about the four nations. We need to remove the regionalisation. And Scotland has an assembly, Northern Ireland has an assembly, Wales has an assembly, but we need to remove the 9 regions of England. And in particular, we need to remove the region of London immediately, take down the London Assembly and give the people back Middlesex. Right? It was all part of this plot. And when people start to realise that can happen, it will happen, as long as you're pushing forward as much as I do. So again, today, I've literally just got back from Cumbria. I've been well looked after in Cumbria by a wonderful lady called Kaz. Met some really interesting and great people up there. So again, I'm going to try and chill a little bit tomorrow. And then I've got some things to do Thursday. I will be live every night. Majorly, don't forget the ivermectin. If you want ivermectin, Graham, Graham .Moore, MOORE, at protonmail.com. And it's £15 a strip. A minimum of 6 strips to make the postage worthwhile. You can have as many as you want. Let me know. I've also got fenbendazole. Both are non-toxic, right? So they're in effect, and they cure a lot of things. I've got to take something to see if it helps with the inflammation I've got in my back. But there you go. I'm just letting you know. Don't forget, give me your full name and address in an email. You need to put ivermectin in the subject line of the email. And Juicy and Lucy is now putting that out there. Don't forget your full name and address. It does help. And how many strips you want. I don't think they'll have DB back after he said he left. Oh. I'm not interested. I'm being honest with you. I'm not interested in joining restore Britain, right? I'm interested in us pushing forward England. I want you all to join Restore Britain and start making, because you're the ones who have listened and understood the Constitution. There's a guy I went and see in Cumbria. We're having a chat, and he said, "Oh, right, this is in the Dicey book." I thought, "All right." So I looked in it, and he's got all this stuff in there. And then he pulls out a book, a particular book. Let's see if I've got it on my shelf behind me, right? And I said to him, "You need to read a book called Reading Law by Antonin Scalia." And off his bookshelf, he picks that book up and says, "There it is," right? And he understood the interpreting law, right? So we had a really interesting conversation. There's many things I could show you on here, and we can go into more detail. But all I'm saying is here, there's another one, by the way, if he's ever listening to this. The Reinvention of the Magna Carta, 1216 to 1616. Right, great book. You should read it. Got loads and loads and loads of stuff in there that everyone should know. But it's not just about the Magna Carta. I am going to do and set up everything. I'm going to concentrate on doing it, which is why we need to have this discussion in June, and then everyone push forward. We have got a very good chance of taking back England, right? So I just want to make sure you're the ones that should be pushing forward with Rupert Lowe, the Restore team. England. The Scots seem like they're breaking through. The Welsh are breaking through. The Northern Irish are breaking through. It's for you to break through. Don't think about it. What I'm saying is, don't overthink about it. Don't send the emails to me. Don't ask for my permission of what you're going to write. You write to them. You send the information and you say, I want you to talk about England and restoring England and our Constitution as enacted, right? That's when we take back England. That's it. I ain't going to stay for long. I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to probably try and get a bit of cat kip, and then I'm going to go for a walk in the morning and see if I can restore my back. I ain't going to say good night, God bless. There's lots of other stuff I was going to show you tonight to do with Iran. It looks like Israel have been captured, or Mossad have been captured in Saudi Arabia and in, I think it was Doha, but I'm not sure, bombing places and making it look like Iran. So in other words, they're creating false flags, but they've been captured, and it now looks like Netanyahu, or whatever his name is, has been captured with them false flags. Now, if that is the case, which I believe it is, you will seriously get people looking at 9/11, right? And the people that are looking at this. So just to make sure, I'm going to say good night, God bless. I'm going to hopefully do a show about that tomorrow night. So it should be interesting. But please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. This is the only channel. And by the way, I need to add this. It looks like all Charlie Kirk stuff that was on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, and many other platforms has been taken down and deleted. So where he was talking about the Jews being the problem, and particularly Israel and Zionism, all of that's been taken down. Now, shock horror, the only place all of those videos are still up and not been taken down is Rumble, right? So everyone should understand, keep pushing forward. Good night, God bless, and don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. We've got to push forward as a team. You're part of that team. So keep going.